Welcome back to Road Trippin' Fredericksburg and to the National Museum of the Pacific War, which is really much more than a museum. Here, they are telling the stories of the everyday heroes of the Pacific War. The National Museum of the Pacific War is located in the heart of Fredericksburg, with the Admiral Nimitz Gallery right on Main Street and the George H.W. Bush Gallery just behind it on Austin Street, plus the Pacific Combat Zone just a couple of blocks away. This world-class institution exists to honor all who served and supported the war in the Pacific through storytelling, comprehensive exhibits and artifacts, immersive reenactments, and more. Their goal is to educate and to keep history alive for generations to come. And now the National Museum of the Pacific War is celebrating a brand new exhibit. Reagan Grau is here to talk to us a little bit about children on the home front, growing up with war, a really impactful new exhibit. Reagan, tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind this.
Here at the museum, we wanted to reach a whole new demographic of children between the ages of 8 and 12 or so, and we wanted to bring some awareness to that group of what it must have been like growing up in the United States on the home front during World War II.
Very important stories to tell. I say we go check out the exhibit.
It's right this way.
Let's do it. Set the stage. Walk us through this incredible exhibit.
When a visitor first enters, they encounter a picture of Eleanor Roosevelt and an excerpt from her speech. She was the very first public figure to address the nation after the attack on Pearl Harbor. And in her address, she spoke to the women and the children of the country. And then when you move into the space, the first venue that you arrive in is the farm. We have the setting is a cotton farm in Texas, and you're introduced to Thomas. And he's a 12-year-old boy whose brother has joined the Marine Corps. His sister has run off to Fort Worth to go build airplanes. He mentions that he's responsible now for learning how to drive the tractor and fixing the tractor. So we've got some hands-on interactive opportunities for children to wrench on a tractor. We have some letters here that he has received from his brother from overseas, and talk a little bit about what brother's doing and where brother is. One of the contributions that Thomas made during the war was he donated his dog to the Army so that the Army could train the dog for patrol duty or guard duty. That summarizes Thomas, and we've got another venue that we could go take a look at.
Very cool. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's right. This is a very different environment.
Right. We tried to capture the contrast between rural and urban. Cotton farm in Texas, now we're in the Bronzeville neighborhood in South Chicago, and we're introduced to Walt. And the concepts that we introduce in this urban space have to do with rationing. We've got a grocery store here and a butcher counter here, and there's the week's ration of meat. There's also a lot of electronic digital interactives here too. One is a scrap drive. And another is plane spotting, because there were a lot of children gazing into the sky trying to identify any enemy airplanes that may be flying over the United States.
It is fascinating to see it put into this context and the situations being so different, particularly in our last exhibit.
Right. We can maneuver into there. In the third venue of our children's exhibit, we find ourselves in a Japanese-American internment camp.
Wow.
And we set this one at Hart Mountain in Wyoming. And in this space, we're introduced to Mary, who is from Los Angeles and had to move to Wyoming with her family. What the sense of loss is in this particular space.
Certainly is, yeah.
But some of the themes that we try to go for in here, a suitcase interactive where the visitor is allowed to try to figure out what to take.
Wow, how profound is that?
Yeah. Another opportunity for interaction here, a Japanese language interactive. We've also got a sewing and patterning, making music, and we've got a traditional Japanese instrument called a koto.
Incredible and thoughtful way to approach this. Oftentimes, as we've spoken, when you visit history museums in particular, you're not often learning about things from the child's perspective, and that's really an important thing. Thank you for taking us through this. This is really well done. It's amazing to see this come to life when we spoke about it several months ago as a concept. So cool. Well, as you can see, we have relocated in a very big way just down the road to the Pacific Combat Zone, and we're here in the Carrier Aviation exhibit with Kina, who's been waiting to chat with us. Great to see you. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Thank you for having me.
It is my pleasure. This is so cool. I mean, how often do you get to do an interview in front of an incredible aircraft like this? What is this?
This is a TBM Avenger, and it would be the same kind of plane that President H.W. Bush flew in World War II.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And it lives right here in the Pacific Combat Zone. There is so much going on here. This is a history museum, but you've got some really cool STEM activities happening. Tell me how that all goes together.
Oh, we do. Well, if you think about World War II, so many technological advances occurred.
True.
And there was so much innovation, so it's just natural that we would look at the challenges that everybody faced on the battlefield and even in the home front with the war effort, and use that opportunity to use this context of history of the Pacific War, but talk about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Every Saturday in the historic Nimitz Ballroom, and it runs from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock. We do lessons on topics like Morse code, propulsion, rockets, parachutes, periscopes. This year we're actually adding the A in STEAM, so we have a little art content as well.
Nice.
So we're going to talk about propaganda posters and music, so we can talk about morale on the battlefield as well. And after they learn a little bit about World War II, we do an activity, and it's just great for all ages.
Yeah, what a great family opportunity. And this summer you actually have a new reenactment at the Pacific Combat Zone. Tell me a little bit about Pacific Valor.
Oh yes, so our battle reenactments are great because you get to experience history in a way we just can't do in an exhibit. You're going to see, hear, smell, and with our M2-2 flamethrower, feel history come to life.
It's very true, yes.
No matter where you sit, you're going to feel that flamethrower. It's great. With most of our reenactments, we demonstrate the equipment and the tactics in the Pacific War. But this year with the Pacific Valor, we've added an element of education and storytelling.
Oh, very cool.
So we're actually reenacting the moment of valor that led to the Medal of Honor being given to young men in the Pacific War.
Oh, wow, that is very cool. There is nothing like that reenactment. It truly is an experience for all of your senses, right?
It really, really is. And this year will be the last time you get to see the 2 Medal of Honor recipients we're doing, because there'll be a whole new lineup next year.
Very cool. A lot to look forward to.
Yes.
Speaking of fall at the National Museum of the Pacific War, it's going to be hopping. What's going on in fall time?
Well, Pacific Valor for one,
Yeah.
on September 2nd, we will have Private First Class Jack Lucas, who landed on Iwo Jima when he was 17 years old.
Wow, that is
Can
incredible.
you even imagine?
can't.
And then on November 4th, it'll be Hospital Apprentice First Class Robert Eugene Bush, which is a mouthful, but he was just 18 when he was in Okinawa. Also this fall, we're really excited to welcome guests virtually and in person to our annual symposium. Our theme this year is Occupation, the Legacy of the Asiatic Pacific War, and we're really diving into what Japanese occupation did to many countries, and we're going to really dig into what that means today. So we really want to touch on the relevance.
Very cool.
We have a great lineup of authors, historians, and academics, and tickets are on sale now. You can go to pacificwarmuseum.org.
There's plenty of summertime left, though. What makes this such a great destination for your summertime travels?
Well, not to brag, but Fredericksburg is a little cooler, and we always have a great breeze here. And during the summer, we do have a couple of outdoor events, but we have great fans in the amphitheater, so don't be afraid. And when you want to cool down, we have 55,000 square feet of air-conditioned exhibit space with interactive displays and games.
Amazing. Air-conditioned, entertained, informed, enlightened. That's all here at the museum. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you showing us around today. I'm going to learn a little bit more about this plane. Coming up on Road Trip in Fredericksburg, what could be better than enjoying a cool craft cocktail on a beautiful patio right before a delicious dinner, followed by a decadent dessert? Not much. You'll find all that and more right here at Sage Restaurant and Lounge, coming up after the break.